Welcome back to another segment of Cute Smart Conversations with Capital Sage. I'm here right now with the man, the Liquid Light Experience. This guy here is an enigma. I like that word because it's like a comet. He makes cosmic music. That's what I would call it. From the branding to the sound to the way it's mixed to the way he dances, it's like watching a comet like do its thing in space. So he definitely makes music. You're a producer, right? You're a producer. I know that you play the guitar. I'm sure you play other stuff. He writes, excellent musician, but that's only one thing that he does. So this is the Liquid Light Experience, and also the creator of the segment, Be the Myth, right?
Yes, man. Yes, man.
It's Capital Sage, and now that we're on the same page, hello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to meet y'all, man.
I have a question.
Yes, man.
When people address you, is it the Liquid Light Experience, or does anyone call you?
Some people call me just say. Some people
Does
just say
anyone call
liquid
you
light.
Does anyone
Some
call
people
you
just say.
EXP?
Some people just say liquid. You know what I'm
Can I
saying?
call
Some
you
people say
EXP, or would you know what I was talking about?
EXP. I like that. I like that EXP.
I want to call you EXP because I'm different. I've got my incense going in the back, and it looks like shit's on fire. I'm just gonna
hold up
for about 10 minutes. It might look like shit's on fire, but this is Cute Smart Conversations, and so let's get it. It's Capital Sage, and now that we're on the same page, we're here with the Liquid Light Experience, and this is Cute Smart Conversations. I just want to say that I have had some conversations with this man that have literally blown my mind, which is why I wanted him to come on the show. I'm already a fan of his music, period, point blank. But some of the conversations that I've had with this man, it's almost slightly unmatched. He's definitely given me some of the deepest conversations that I've had. And I'm a pretty deep person. Let's get it. EXP, can you please explain to me what Be the Myth is? Because that sounds really interesting, but I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, so I came to the conclusion that the world is under some type of messed up form of mind control. You know what I'm saying? It started in ancient civilizations like Akkadian, Sumeria, and ancient Egypt, where the priesthoods came up with a way to have people, to split people's minds in two and have them thinking and hoping for things outside themselves to make things happen in their life. You understand what I'm saying? And so
now
that's what sense of myth comes from. It goes all the way down to ancient Greece and Rome, all the way down to the Catholic Church. Huh?
You already got deep. I got questions.
Yeah, so
that there was a shift in ancient times where people went from knowing that they were that supreme being to believing that it was outside of themselves. I heard that and I was like, is that what you meant?
Yeah, whether they knew, you understand what I'm saying? Because people, the way people's psyche breaks and the way you get put to action is by it's by what's the word I'm looking for? The word escapes me. It basically God, the word escapes me. It's by trauma. All right. So
okay.
say if you stuck at a job and you always wanted to leave that job and you was at that job for 10 years and all of a sudden you have a car accident that almost kills you. All right. And that trauma will affect your mind to the point where, man, I just wasted 10 years of my life. I don't care what happens. I'm leaving that job because my life, you understand, I could have died. And so these things, so there's a certain point in ancient, in archaic times where people were forced to have a breakage in their psyche through trauma because the conditions were so harsh you know what I'm saying? Like in North Africa in the desert, where they didn't have a choice, but they had that breaky to create civilization for survival. You understand?
Yes.
And this is a time before anybody, before that breakage in their brain. You understand? So they knew that they knew that through concentration and intense emotion and intense action, that they could do what they need to do to survive the conditions of their atmosphere. All right. Fast forward thousands and thousands and thousands of years, as certain people realize these secrets, that they came up with some type of form of mind control, a sophisticated form of mind control, whereby they started teaching people that there was something outside of themselves that was controlling things. So there's certain things in nature. So certain things in nature, they anthropomorphize and zoomorphize, which means like the sun. The sun will become like the form. You see what I'm saying? Like a human. So zoomorph is animalistic. So you can see all of that in ancient cultures. And so as time passed, and people started believing this, right? Mm-hmm. There's what's called the exoteric and the esoteric. So the esoteric that we have was called mystery schools, which was right now would be what you call universities. So when you went to a university back in the day, you had death-defying initiations, and those initiations would make those breakages that I'm talking about. Those initiations would take the place of those traumatic events. They have that breakage in your psyche, and you would get introduced to these things I'm talking about. And as the higher you went, you will find out what I'm telling you about. But if you stuck on the exoteric part, you just believe that some gods was helping you, and you just prayed to these gods, and you never found out that it was you, that you need the inside, that your inner self, that you really need to get in contact with and self-develop yourself to actually be the myth that you actually worshiping. And so I hope that explains it.
Let me ask you a question, because I feel like you said something very profound. You're saying that you believe that there was a time before religion, that there was a time when people were just like, I'm God. And you think that it was
they didn't say that to themselves. They just were.
Yeah.
They didn't say like I'm God, because they never had that dualistic breakage in their brain until thousands and thousands of years after that. So they wasn't like they saying, they just were. They were because they had to be.
So you're saying that, and I can tell you what I think about that. You're saying that you think that the whole concept of thinking there's a God outside of you came from mind control?
The priesthoods, what you would call today the ancient priesthoods.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or the secret societies back then.
Yeah.
The men, they came up with that. They made that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So not even like, oh, some big shift happened on Earth. You like a group of people, some priests came up with that and just start spreading that shit.
They came up with that. They ain't with it. The first thing when they came up with the Agigi and the Anunnaki.
Okay.
That was the first set of things. You know, you understand? When they realized, well, I can make people believe that there's something out there that they can call on.
Are you saying that those are the priests, the Anunnakis?
No, that's the priesthoods who were human beings. You came up with that.
Do you have an opinion about Atlantis? Atlantis intrigues me so much. For it to be like a whole civilization of like magical people, and then it just falls.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion about it. The history about Atlantis comes from Plato. Plato came up with Atlantis. You understand what I'm saying? If you look into the history of it, and what it is that like you had in Egypt, which was extremely advanced for that time.
So you don't think
that he might have just been talking about, like you had the city of Meru. which was the capital of Kush.
Yes.
At the time when they were in a primitive state, was way more advanced than them. He might have just been describing that, and in his own way, made the myth of Atlantis. You understand?
So you don't think Atlantis existed at all?
Plato came up with that, with the concept of Atlantis. I'm not saying that it didn't exist. It just didn't exist the way he described it. Plato is Greek. We had African civilizations that existed thousands of years before that. That's what I'm talking about. Like ancient Kemet, and the capital of Kush was called Meroe. It was the biggest city at that time. It was a trade city, and compared to other places in the planet, was far advanced, more advanced than them. So they might have thought that was, you understand?
So
it's something that just passed down to him that he wrote about. But Plato came up with the concept, if I'm not mistaken, with the concept of Atlantis.
What you drinking? Some sweet tea lemonade?
Tea.
Huh?
Tea. I'm drinking black tea with sweetened with agave with some lemon in it.
So what I think is interesting about what you said is that basically you think that there was a lot of Atlantis, period. Like, okay, that might have just happened all over the place, but the Atlantis that we heard of came from Plato. I think it was a lot of Jesuses. And we only talk about Jesus from the Bible because of probably some type of propaganda. I think there's a lot of Jesuses walking around today. I think you could easily be Jesus, etc. And I think that back then it was a lot of Jesuses, but we only talk about the Jesus in the Bible because it has a narrative behind it, or it has a means to control. But I don't mean to say means to control because maybe it's not negative and that sounds negative. But I think that they only talk about Jesus in the Bible because it's a narrative that they're trying to push for whatever.
Jesus was the last spell. Jesus was the last spell of the sun god.
Of what?
In ancient times, all the way up to the Roman Catholic Church.
You said of the sun god?
Jesus was the last spell that they cast of the sun god. So up until Jesus, you had many sun gods. You understand?
But do you believe in a sun god now?
No, I don't believe in no gods like that, man.
Really? I feel like the sun god is, I think the sun god is people just being like, the sun makes all of our food. The sun wakes us up in the morning.
That's all it was. That's all it was from ancient times. So they anthropomorphized it, like I'm telling you. I think the first one was Tammuz, all the way up to Ahura Mazda. There's many sun gods. Jesus they all had the same story. They was born of a virgin mother. You understand? They all have similar stories. Jesus was the last of the spell of the sun gods that they cast on the population.
Yeah.
And it was maybe the most powerful one, because that one still exists to this day.
Yeah, some stuff I think it's like just human beings trying to make their existence easier. It's like you come up with stuff because it's just day after day the same thing. So you come up with stuff to entertain yourself. It's like, you ain't doing nothing. You like, let's go outside and worship the sun god. I just feel like day after day, infinity can get boring. Like if you don't got nothing to do, you're gonna find something to do. So that you don't get bored. Huh?
Yeah. I sincerely like, after reading so much, I really think that there's just men that were ahead and were more sophisticated mentally, that they came up with that. They said, well, we could rule over people like this. You know what I'm saying?
Came up with what, like the sun god?
Like what I'm telling you about, came up with these concepts of some gods. Gods came and they made all that up, man.
So I still believe in God, but I'm gonna be transparent. I think that God creative energy that sparked all of us. So I think we all came from an all source or something like that, kind of like the Transformers. Like we all came from an all spark. And so I believe in God, but I believe it's just like the source of life. And I believe we're spinoffs of that. For instance, I think that God is the ocean and we're all drops of water. We're all water, but God is the ocean. That's how I feel about it. But at the same time, perfect. I feel like God has an existence on another dimension, for lack of better words. I think that God exists somewhere without all these labels and worldly things. So I do think God exists somewhere, but it's still like us, just as a whole. You don't even believe in that. Like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't describe it like that. The way I would describe it is we are a continuation of a continuation of these creative forces that do exist multidimensionally. You understand what I'm saying? Like you're saying, I don't want to use the word God because that casts a spell. So we are a manifestation. These forces, these creative forces, when they decide, when what you call this solar system was manifested, had to manifest themselves in some form physically to continue in the act of creation.
The act of creation?
Yeah.
So you're basically saying that.
You understand what I'm saying?
You're basically saying that there could be a God, but you're not submissive.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I feel like you're saying like.
Saying what you calling God or whatever. Yeah.
I feel like most people look at God as something that's above them that they have to aspire to, and you just like God is there, but it's not like that.
I'm like it's all one thing.
Yeah.
You perceiving that we separate, but it's all one thing.
Yeah.
Like the cells in your body ain't separate from your body, but they do their own thing within your body. You understand?
Yes.
It's all one thing.
Yeah.
Like you.
Yeah, I always thought like what if your digestive system and your heart was like, I'm more important. No, I'm more important. Actually, we're both in a body doing our thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's all part of the same system. Like you don't live outside. You understand?
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I think that men and women are like that. Like, I have a funny analogy. If you're making music, right, and you got your laptop hooked up with the microphone and all that type of stuff, what if your cord that you plug into the wall is like, I'm more important? And then the auxiliary cord that you plug into the laptop is like, actually, I'm more important because I'm making the sounds. But it's like the whole point is to power the laptop. But the cords are arguing with each other like, I'm more important. I brought the electricity. No, I'm more important.
Conflict.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like the point is really to plug into this laptop and make this song. And it has nothing to do with either one of you. but I guess that's a whole nother topic. But I guess that's like just what we're supposed to do as our species. Because just to say this is random as hell. I'm gonna go ahead and make that disclaimer. This is so random. Ants have male and female ants, and they probably have arguments the same way that black men and black women do. They probably be arguing about hella shit. I don't feel like climbing up this tree. Why I gotta walk behind you? All this type of stuff. Ants. But when we look at them, we just like they're fucking ants. But the ants be having all type of dichotomies. And that's just
ants don't have a complicated enough brain to do that. They all move as one. You know, they move strictly by instinct as one. However, we are very similar to ants.
Male and female is instinct. Like that's what I was just saying. You plug into the wall, I plug into the computer. It don't got nothing to do with either one of us.
Yeah, like bees, they don't know. They move strictly.
Huh?
they move strictly off of frequency and their instinct. They don't have a complicated enough brain to be analyzed and shit like that. But as far as what you were talking about,
that's interesting. I don't know if it's
we were talking about earlier.
See, because I don't look at male and female relationships as complicated. I look at them as chemical. You have testosterone and I have estrogen, and those chemicals just react with each other a certain way. I don't think that we even consciously communicate the way that we do. It's just like your chemicals are reacting with my chemicals, and this is how
That's true. That's true. That's very much true.
So I don't even think our intelligence comes through like that. I think our intelligence comes through in different ways because it's male and female in all the animal kingdoms and probably in bacteria kingdoms too. So I don't even think that part is intelligent. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
because I sometimes bird watch. The male bird will come by the female bird and start pecking by her butt and stuff like, get your ass on, get out my way. You know what I'm saying? But that's just, he's just bigger than her. Like, that's just what he do. I don't even know if it's intelligent. He's just like, you're my female bird.
We do that too, but we still have extra parts of our brain. We still have a more developed brain. We have extra parts of our brain that develop because of what we had to do to survive. You understand what I'm saying? So yes. You will see a lot of our behavior in animals and shit, but they can't analyze and have abstract and complicated thoughts. And you'll find if you research cognicity and the mind and the human brain, cognicity, that it's human beings that are capable of more abstract thought, that are the people like Einstein's and Nikola Tesla's, Picasso's, the Mozarts, the Stevie Wonders, the Princes. You understand what I'm saying? Human beings that aren't, not every human being is capable. A lot of human beings are like ants. They don't know any other way to behave, but and that's part of the spell I'm talking about. But you mentioned the ocean and us being the droplets.
I like how you
That's exactly what I was saying. Huh?
I like how you put the musicians in the category with like electricians and stuff like that, because really what we do is like calculus. It's just more artistic and expressive, but it's really the same. Like
music is an advanced science and mathematics. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It can be utilized. It can be utilized to cause a human being to evolve or to de-evolve. So think about that for a second. Think about what's going on. Think about the last BET Awards and what's going on with the popular music industry and major label artists, and think about what you see going on. Then put on some Stevie Wonder and see how that Stevie Wonder make you feel.
Smart.
Put on the baby, see how that the baby make you feel. Then put on some Stevie Wonder and see how that Stevie Wonder make you feel.
The baby, I'm sorry, but I speak honestly. The baby is, some of his videos, it just be like, I don't even feel comfortable watching it. I seen a video where he was laying on a bed and it was like 60 women on the bed with him, and he's just like, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah, that's what people on that frequency. Congrats to the baby and all his success. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope he's taking care of his family and kids if he got kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna knock nobody that's successful. That's not my point, but yeah.
So I have
look at how that makes you feel, and then listen to some Stevie Wonder or something, or listen to some Duke Ellington, and listen to the emotions that makes you feel. It's like it's two different things. So that's my point. That music is a high science and mathematics. It can be used to build, or it can be used to destroy. You understand?
I just got into somebody jazzy, but I forgot his name. It'll come back to me. But how do you feel about this? Because as I'm getting older, I'm starting to think about this more. If you can't beat them, do you join them? Like, if you were to say, people like the baby is making millions of dollars, there's a market for that. So even though I don't agree with what he does, if people are making money off of that, why don't I go over here and make a song like that? Because they already listening to it anyway. How do you feel about it?
Because the reason why is because you're not the only one thinking like that. So everybody's gonna be trying to sound and do what the baby does, and they already got a baby. Then they got a little baby. So what's gonna be next?
Just to explain what I mean. Like
I know what you're saying. I'm not gonna agree with that because then there won't be nobody to do nothing different. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
Huh? Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, for instance, I was gonna open a convenience store that I sell only healthy stuff, right? I was gonna sell like healthy cigarettes, all that type of stuff. But then I said, if I sell cigarettes and people already buy Newports, even though I don't agree with that, people are already spending millions of dollars on Newports. So why don't I get in the way of some of that money? Because they already buying it. So why don't I sell it?
I'm with that. That's business.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's what I mean. I don't mean like sound exactly like the baby. I mean that we're smart. We have a cute, smart conversation. We like to do metaphysical things, but at the same time, it's a market for stupid ass music. So at some point, do you be like, well, I could go over here and make $1 million real quick and just make a stupid ass song because it's already a market for it, even though I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people doing that.
So you're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to dumb down, that's on them.
But you wouldn't do it.
No, I'm not doing it.
Just to get in the way of some of that money.
I'm not doing that. You know what? It's like at the same time, I'm able to create something like trap. I might not, I'm like the beats. I like the beats. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to use the beats and implement it in everything else that I do and still create something that crosses both lines and that the masses would like and people could catch it and say, well, yeah, this is still different. So I'm able to do that because I produce, but I'm not gonna do exactly what he's doing because it's on, you know, what he's doing, I can't be better than him in that.
Yeah, I guess I'm just saying, because me, personal integrity, I would never try to sound like somebody else because I just think that's corny. But I mean, like, I might like only jazz music, but trap music is hot. So I might be like, I in my heart like jazz, but I can make a trap song just because. Like, I don't know, some people think that way because I feel like we have so much integrity as like smart people and like almost like gods, for lack of better words. I wouldn't call myself a god, but on that wavelength of what we were talking about, how we're powerful. But if people are making millions of dollars doing shit and there's many stupid people who feed into it, no offense, but I'm being real, many stupid people who feed into it, it's like, why should I be broke when I could go over here and just make $1 million real quick? Now, I'm not gonna do anything that totally compromises my integrity, like fucking hoeing on OnlyFans. But at the same time, if it's something that I don't mind doing, but I don't necessarily agree with it, I'm like, why don't I just get some of that money real quick? I'm starting to feel that way.
I mean, I agree with you. It's business, you know? And
I haven't done it, but I've been considering, like, you know.
I mean, it's business. I'm just not doing that. I do, you know, I do what I do, and it's like I could always dumb it down and make some songs that people like that would like, and still do what I gotta still mix it with what I do, to make it palatable to everybody, you know. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what people want to do, you know. I hear a lot of people on Spotify that sound like that, but you're not gonna reach. There's only one DaBaby, man. There's only one Lil Baby, and they're stars. They're mega stars. So it's like you're not gonna be.
So sometimes I just feel like integrity can put you in a box. Like you be like, I don't do nothing that's stupid, but at the same time, nobody can relate to you now. Do you ever feel that way sometimes?
Yeah, I understand that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm not going all the way to what he's doing. Like I like rock music, so I mix a lot of my stuff with rock. You know what I'm saying? I can make the beats like he makes, and just still have that persona and have it make it palatable to everybody. So people that like him will like a song that I put out. But I'm not. I know what you're saying. You can't be completely avant-garde to where nobody understands what you're doing.
I like that. I'm trying to unwind and come back because I fell off the grid. Like I stopped communicating with society for a while. I was like living in nature, like in tents and stuff like that. So I really got to the point where people were just like, what the fuck are you on? And I'm just like, not what y'all are on, but there was definitely a communication barrier at that point because it's just like, I didn't agree with anything that anybody was saying.
Right.
So I'm trying to come back from that and be like, meeting on common ground with people because I've definitely gone totally left field where it was just like, I don't agree with nothing that you're talking about. I don't even think about the type of stuff that y'all talk about. Like I have friends that I stopped talking to because like they'll be like, let's talk about Nicki Minaj. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about Nicki Minaj. And they're just like, why everything gotta be so serious? And I'm like, why everything gotta be so light? And then it's just like,
why would I know. That's a waste of time for me to be talking about Nicki Minaj.
Huh?
That's a waste of time.
It is a waste of time, but I'm starting to understand that it gives you space to do the other things that human beings do. I guess to read people and stuff like that. You talking about Nicki Minaj, but you reading folks' facial expressions and shit. I guess I'm real honest, so I'll be like, if you want to know my facial expression, just be like, I'm looking at you. You don't gotta trick me into talking about Nicki Minaj. But that's how people do. So I'm definitely trying to get a common ground and learn how to meet people in the middle. And for me to just not be so weird all the time. Because I've definitely gone totally left field where nobody knew what I was talking about or what I was doing. And I couldn't relate to anyone because I'm just like, well, actually, the real reason that they do this and that, and people just like, I don't care.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like you wasting your energy. I don't do that, man. Because then people feel like you're a Debbie Downer.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it began to be. Like it's like every time somebody would just be light and friendly, like, oh, did you do this and that? And I'd be like, oh no, because the man, this and that, and that's how you end up like this and that. And they just like too much.
Yeah. You know, nobody won't be around no more.
Yeah. I didn't have any friends. Some friends I got rid of, and some people were just like holler at your folks.
Yeah.
So I definitely
you gotta let people live their life, bro. You know?
It's
you gotta
cool.
let people live their life. Huh?
Yeah, I'm saying now I'm just trying to like come back to the middle and just be like, it's cool. You don't have to be always, because I definitely went all the way over there. Like for a while, I didn't put any chemicals on my skin. So I might have a homegirl. She might be like, "Oh, I got this pretty lotion from Sephora," and I'm like, "Ew, chemicals." So I couldn't even sit and have girl time and be like, "Oh,
you can't even." Yeah, it gets to the point where you can't engage with people properly.
Yeah,
you gotta meet people where they at, bro. You can't.
Homegirl was like, "Let's go get our feet done," and I'm like, "No, the chemicals, this and that. I can't even do regular stuff that girls do." Because I'm just like, well, the chemicals in the nail polish and the chemicals in the bath, like, no, you know what I'm saying? Go get your feet done, whatever.
That's indeed.
Somebody might try to give me something and I'm like, no thanks, it's got chemicals in it. And it's just like, damn, I was trying to be nice. And I'm like, well, don't give me chemicals then. It just became to be too much.
It gets to be too much.
Yeah. I couldn't hang out with anybody. People just like, what are you on?
Yeah, it's like, what you gonna do, Just go live up in the hills and not, what I mean? What you gonna do? Just go up, live up in the hills somewhere?
I did that and I came back. So that's how I know that's not the way. I did that. I went and in the hills, like the mountains, the trees, all that. I left. It was just like, I'm finna go live out here. But I came back.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Damn.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that probably helped you grow.
It
to a certain
did.
extent.
It's something really awesome to do for a period of time, but I wouldn't suggest doing it all the time because I was by myself. And I couldn't relate to nobody. Like, I go back into society, like even going into a restaurant, sitting down eating at a restaurant was weird. Cause I'm just like, it sounds weird in here. My ears are tuned into the birds and the trees. So sitting inside is weird. What's with these TVs? You know, all these lights, all this artificial light. Like it just became to be too much where I couldn't even just go sit in a restaurant and sit down and eat. Cause I'm just like,
yeah, you can't.
The air is still.
Like, yeah, you just become this person that nobody wants to fuck with.
It wasn't about people, because you know, cool people, I'd be like, well, you don't like me, you're lame. You know, so it wasn't about people, but it was about the fact that I couldn't have no relationships because I was being so left field that it was like, how do you relate to anyone? How could a man take me on a date if I'm just like, well, I don't want to go inside. I don't want to go to anywhere that you want to go to. I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, what do you want to do? I'm like, let's sit outside in silence. That sounds boring.
Right. Wow. Nobody wants to just do that. Man.
Anything he said, I'm just like, I don't do that. Well, what are we supposed to do? And I'd be like, be creative. And he'd be like, I'm finna go. Unless you kind of.
How can you keep a relationship like that?
But I was celibate, so even that. He like, well, I guess the only thing we can do is, and I'm like, I don't do that either.
So you see, you just become this impossible person to deal with, you know?
Huh?
It's like when you like that, you become this impossible person to deal with.
Yeah. And then you only attract people who are weird. So everybody I had around me was weird like that, which is a whole nother chaotic situation. A bunch of people who don't wear the right clothes, don't think the right shit, ain't doing nothing like normal, and we all just being weird together. It becomes a cycle. It's just like this. All my friends are crazy.
Yeah.
I understood people in my heart. I understood homeless people. Like I'd be like, "Yep, you're a cosmic." I understand that. It's like, yeah, I don't want to vibe with homeless people. Not like that. It's like I understand.
That's what winds up happening. It's like that's what you attract when you like that, because that's why they are like they are.
Because you ain't got no home.
Like I got this song, "The Man with No Name." The Man with No Name. That's what The Man with No Name is about.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
The Man with No Name. Check that song. That's what that's about.
What's it? Like, what's the premise and like what would you describe the sound as?
Huh?
What's the premise of the song, and then how would you describe the sound? Is it like a slow mid tempo? Is it like
it's like hip hop? It's like hip hop and rock. You know?
Yeah.
That's the sound. It's like hip hop and rock. It's the first track on the album that I released. You know what I'm saying? But that's what that song is about. It's, you know, it's just about somebody that they just don't want to compromise anything in society, being part of anything in society. So they just be the man with no name. They just be homeless.
Do you have a new project?
I'm putting out new music.
Just music, not like an album.
Not an album. I'm just putting out singles now.
Where do you put it out?
Albums are dead, huh?
Where do you put it out at?
It's distributed through United Masters. It's when I put it out, it's on every streaming platform, so you can catch it on Spotify, Apple Music.
And your name on there is Light Experience, right? Or is it the Liquid Light EXP?
Yeah, the Liquid Light EXP.
Yeah. You got that video that you did about Jimi Hendrix. I thought that was so cool. where you were like at the
with the telephone.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. I want to start doing more shit like that.
Huh?
I want to start doing more stuff like that, like mini skits.
I thought that was awesome because it like went back in time. And right now, shit is so plastic that going back in time is where the quality is at. Now, you can create new quality, but it's a little bit more difficult because what you're going to do, put robots in your video. So you with the phone and the whole Jimi Hendrix vibe, I thought that was really dope.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, I wouldn't say everything has to be in the past because that could become cliche also, like if you try to model everything after the past, but I thought that was cool, especially with the payphone. I was like, where do you find a payphone?
Yeah, in the French Quarter,
Huh?
where everything is old. In the French Quarter, where everything is old.
Oh, New Orleans.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yup.
Dude, I thought that there were some children in your background. That's me yelling and it's echoing.
Oh, for real,
I had that conversation with somebody yesterday. I just talk loud.
Nobody's here, man.
Huh?
You know, nobody's here.
So let me see if you found what else? You know what? I have a question that I think would be interesting for you to answer.
All right.
What? This is Cute Smart Conversations with Capital Sage, and now that we on the same page, I would like to ask the Liquid Light Experience a question. What is something interesting that you notice? And what I mean by that is if you could say there's something that you possess with your perception that nobody else possesses. Does that make sense? What's something special about the way you see things?
The thing that's special about the way I see things is that it leads to self-development, self-realization, true happiness, self-fulfillment. You know what I mean? And you living the best life you could live while you're on this planet. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things outside of yourself that are telling you that this existence is shitty. If you self-develop and maintain peace within yourself, and you know, that's self-explanatory.
You feel that way about it?
Yeah, you know. So I mean, the sky is always falling. If you look at the news, if you pay attention to what's around you, the sky is always falling, man.
It sure enough is. If you decide to pay attention.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people let that affect their daily lives and how they feel, and stresses them out. And it's like the sky is gonna always be falling, you know.
If you
I think that boils down to just fear of death. People don't want to die, man, you know. And that's another thing Steve Jobs talked about. You could come to
Could you explain that? I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, just come to grips with death.
So you think that pessimists are afraid of death?
It's not just pessimists, it's everybody, man. You know? Not pessimists, but just everybody. You know, people that let the news and media and the things going on in the world affect them. It boils down to fear of death. You know, they're afraid to die. They don't want to die. You're gonna, you know, when if you could come to the conclusion and accept death, then nothing will bother you, man. And I'm not trying to sound morbid. I'm not telling people to be suicidal. When I'm telling them, I
understand being like, one day I'm gonna die, but how do you accept death? That's quite interesting.
All that one day I'm gonna die, you could be walking somewhere and somebody could rob you. You know what I'm saying? But what you can't do is be like, I'm not gonna go outside because somebody might rob me.
So that's accepting it. That's accepting it. Like not moving in fear.
Get rid of that fear, man. The fear of death drives people crazy.
It drives people crazy, you said?
Yeah, it makes people nuts, man.
Yeah, it can. It definitely can.
Look at last year. Look at last year.
You said look at last year?
Last year, yeah.
About COVID. I feel like that was dumb as fuck if you got caught up in that. I'm sorry, but I'm keeping it real. Cute, smart conversations with capital Sage. If you let your mind go down that rabbit hole, you stupid. And I'm saying that right here on my show, Cute, Smart Conversations with Capital Sage. Anybody that was sitting there like, oh shit, COVID, what? Just stay in the house. Like, find something to do.
Yeah.
They acting like it's a dog.
I mean, somebody like me, it worked out for me. I mean, that lockdown, I got more content done than I ever did.
Everybody did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody did. I learned how to cook on a campfire because I was like, I'm not doing shit else, and so I'm gonna learn how to start a fire.
Yeah, right.
Cook on it.
Yeah, so some people, that's how, for some people, it's just like, you know.
I was outside building stoves. Like, I would just get a big ass pile of rocks, and then I'd make a stove, and then I'd be like, I don't like that stove. And then I'd go over here and make another stove out of rocks. And then I would have two stoves sitting next to each other, and I'd be like, okay, this is my chicken stove, and this is my soup stove. That's what I was doing when the pandemic started. I found something to do. I was like, we can't go anywhere, so I'm just gonna find some shit to get into. And that's how I learned how to cook on a campfire. Which led me to the Walmart camping section. So even though, I'm gonna take a little second, even though I'm over my sovereign camping lifestyle, because I kind of wore it into the ground like a pair of fucking shoes, Walmart's camping section is on point.
All right.
I got everything from, I had a shower, I had a toilet, I had a stove, I had tents, I had a machete, I had fucking a hammock. Walmart's camping section is on.
So the thing is, like, if there's a fall, a fall of civilization, you can survive.
I know what to do. All you gotta do is when you see the people going this way, go over there.
Yeah.
That's it. Because the people gonna end up fighting each other.
Yeah, right.
Everything's fine in nature. You know what to expect in nature. If you run up on a coyote, you better win. But people can just be sitting there and just be like, I'm bored, let's fight.
Yeah, right.
So that's all I do. If something break out, you see everybody going this way, go over there. Because you'll figure it out.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's, we talking about a lot of stuff.
I didn't get to the point where I could pick berries off of a tree and like survive off the leaves. I still had to go to the store and buy food and stuff, but I could have probably figured it out eventually. But some of that stuff would be poisonous, so I would be careful with that.
Right.
But I would still go to the store and buy stuff, but after that, I'd go back into nature and just chill.
Yeah.
But I had no Wi-Fi and stuff out there. I had music, I had tablets, so I was watching movies and stuff like that. So I found ways to entertain myself and stay current. It was fun. I just wouldn't do it forever because I started to feel like a bum. I was dirty. I couldn't talk to people because people, just got off work. And I'm like, I've been sitting outside all day under the trees.
Yeah, right. People look at people are judging. You know what I'm saying? People are judging. Like I see her every day. She must be homeless. Like I see her outside every day,
Huh?
People are judgmental and people have preconceived notions about other people. You know what I'm saying? So people judge you by how they see you, how they mostly see you is how they judge you. So if they mostly see you in the tent, they're gonna be like you homeless.
It wasn't that people are judgmental, it was more like law of attraction. So if somebody has spent all day at work, and then they might have got off work and went to Taco Bell and got themselves something to eat. And then they might have gotten their air-conditioned car and now they're finna go kick it with their friends. But I just came out of the forest. What are we gonna talk about?
Yeah, right.
So it wasn't being judgmental. It was that I didn't fit in anywhere because I just came out.
Yeah, to grind yourself. Yeah, to grind yourself back to be a part of society.
Huh?
You had to grind yourself. Yeah, to
like,
grind yourself.
I had conversations with people, but I was weird. And this is something really weird. You can feel the vibrations of whatever you're around. Most people be around people. I was around animals because I was outside. So I'm in a restaurant acting like a bird. I'm in the restaurant like, because I've been outside with birds all day. So people trying to talk to me, and they just like, are you on drugs? And I'm like, no, I'm not on drugs. It took a while for me to stop doing that shit. Like sometimes people be talking to me and I sniff them. I'll be like, and they just like, what the fuck?
That's crazy, man. Yeah, you can't do that. People, people put you in a, people call the police on you and they'll mentally evaluate you, and you start talking about some shit because you way up here on some shit, and it'd be like,
it wasn't that I was wrong.
You gotta go to the hospital, huh?
It wasn't that I was wrong. It's just like, who does that?
Yeah, you gotta adjust to society. You gotta have a balance. Man. Can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, mind of being an outcast.
I'm cool with it, but as soon as I start acting like a bird, I was like, I might be doing too much. Because I'm inside trying to be normal.
Right, you can't do that. People just think nuts.
But now, like you said, if it's a zombie apocalypse, me and the birds are like this.
Yeah, right. You know what to do now. You know?
That shit was strange.
Hey man, you got anything else to ask before I go?
Anyway, that was strange, but luckily I have stories to tell my grandkids. I have one question before you go. Do you still believe in the Illuminati?
I mean, the Illuminati is something that the Illuminati exists because the meaning of Illuminati means that you enlighten. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So remember at the beginning of the conversation, I started out with the priesthoods. That's where that started. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to where you have these initiatory systems that people go through. But when people talk about the Illuminati on social media, what they don't know about is that they're talking about families. You understand what I'm saying? And the family is everything. So they don't teach the population to be family oriented. If they do anything, they program you to break up the family, and they try to cause havoc within the family. You understand? And that's all. This is a whole nother conversation. But the 5 families that control everything, they know it's all about family. So if a billionaire has a son, he'll never tell his son, man, you're 18 now, get out.
Right.
You got to get you a job. I don't care. You understand?
Yeah.
He passes that on to his son, and he trains his son to take over what he built. And it goes down the family line. So they teach us when your child is 18, it's time for them to get out. Now it's time for them. Now it's time for them to get a job and get the stress you had when you had to get out and be taxed. And you understand, have to pay rent and have to pay bills. When you can just let them stay with you for a while, because most parents don't have an inheritance for their child, like these super rich dudes. They don't have an inheritance. They don't have an inheritance, but you could just let them stay with you, work, and let them save their money. And that way, if they go to college, they have the money to pay the loans back. When we do that, what they teach people to do is kick your child out and make them go into debt.
Right.
You understand?
I want to say something really short about that because I know you got to go.
They pass on wealth to their children. We pass on debt to our children. So when you talk about the Illuminati, just think about that. Illuminati is nothing to be scared of. You need to become an Illuminati. So, stop that stuff. People like to talk about it and put Baphomet up and upside down pentagrams on a post and start talking about this person and that person, but you never dived into that, so you really don't know what that's about. You never dived into that. They like to talk about Bohemian Grove and the aisle that they supposed to, you know what I'm saying? But you never dived into that to know what they're doing. So
That
you
was
really
like,
don't
that was
know.
like 5 years ago for me. I went down that rabbit hole too. That is a whole nother conversation. I went down that rabbit hole.
So with the Illuminati, with the Illuminati talking about, you asked me a question.
Yeah.
You asked me a question. With the Illuminati that they talking about is people that got initiated into an ancient order that you established, all right? And systems of spiritual and mental empowerment that you created and used to keep for the perpetuation of yourself and your family. You understand? In ancient times. And what it is, they made you scared of it. So they using it to stay in power, and they the way that they presented it to you is this something you should be scared of.
What I was gonna say is, only people who do that stupid ass shit is Americans. Have you noticed that? If you look at other races, they'll stay in the same house with all of their relatives, and no matter what, you can always come back to that house if you ever do leave. Only people who do that is Americans. Like, every single adult got their own house. It's like, do you know how much money you can save if
because it's a system of debt. You gotta understand. You know what? I'm talking about shit, brother. It's like we starting to go into some real. We started talking about shit that, you know, motherfuckers get assassinated over.
Maybe we could do a part two.
It's a system of debt. It's a system of debt that they tricking people to pass on to their children, basically.
They said that's why Patrice O'Neal got killed, because, you know, Patrice O'Neal, the comedian.
Who?
Patrice O'Neal, he was like a real outspoken comedian, but some people say that he got killed because he started talking about, he was like, income tax is basically slavery for Americans, but Black people was already slaves. And he was like, damn, so now we double slaves? And then after that, he died. And so some people say he got killed because of that. Because he was like on a big platform kind of talking about that.
Yeah.
But I know you have to go, so I just want to make sure, do you want to promote anything?
Yeah, man, Liquid Light Experience, that's THE space LIKWIDLIGHT space EXP. You know, look me up on Instagram, follow me, man, and you know, y'all stay in touch.
And this capital save, maybe we
more music coming. That's it, man. Huh?
Maybe we could come back and do a part two, because like I said, you always have the most.
You gotta do a part two.
Let's do it. I look forward to it.
All right, man.
Okay, love.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Sage.
It's Cute Smart Conversations with Capital Sage. Peace.